Welcome to Galatina, a tiny town in South Italy that is home to splendid Baroque architecture, incredible frescoes, a very bloody religion, some unusual dances that cure the tarantula venom, and very tasty cakes. Want to learn more? Then subscribe and watch on. My tour of Galatina started here at the bell tower that doubles up as a tourist information center, and the owner was clearly really happy to see me because I was the only one there. And I got loads of booklets. But I am not a big fan of planned travel, so I made my own way around Galatina. And I was not disappointed. Every back alley, every sneakaway has something to show off. Just look at the variety of the Baroque architecture on display. No two door frames were the same. And look at this beautiful woodwork. Now the old town is very small, but surprisingly easy to get lost in, because every courtyard opens up into a new path worth exploring. And each open door is worthy a sneak peek. Let's take a look inside this tiny church. I've never quite seen a church like this before, but there was something similar in Rimini, so perhaps these are typical for the south. Now through the red curtain and back out onto the street. The map from the Tourist Information Office actually marks special courtyards that are worth having a look at, but I found this one all by myself. And they're not all that hard to spot. Just look out for walls, windows, archways that don't look like they quite belong together. Follow the road around and you will find an example of history, well preserved and cared for, like this one. And that's another reason to see Galatina by foot. Plus, the cars just don't fit here. But now, on to the main attraction of Galatina. Most people come here to see this gorgeous 14th century basilica of Saint Catherine of Alexandria. The delicately carved rose stone of the central facade does not quite prepare the visitor for what is inside, or the bloody history of this church. It certainly creates a dramatic contrast for the frenzy of frescoes found on the inside, all done in deep, dark colors. And once you start to really pay attention to what exactly is being depicted, well, it sent a chill down my back. But I mentioned something about history. The legend has it that Raimondo Orsini, who had the church built at the end of the 14th century, visited the relic of Saint Catherine herself, and upon kissing the hand of the dead saint, bit off a finger, and brought that back as a holy relic for his own church. And I saw the reflection of that gruesome story in some of the imagery inside the church. Take a look at the detail and facial expressions in that one, for example. It was actually Ramondello's wife who had the frescoes done in the 15th century, following her husband's death. And the frescoes had to tell a powerful story to educate the illiterate populace of the time, but still, I've never seen ones quite this bloody before. Even this beautiful monastery adjacent to the basilica has quite graphic depictions. Peeking out from behind the arches, the frescoes follow the walls all the way around. Like a delicate embroidery, the bright colors entertain the eye, but look closer. The scenes they depict are chilling, almost bordering on creepy. Wandering around the basilica left me feeling pretty cold despite the heat. So before long, I was back out on the warm and sunny streets of Galatina. With so much history behind them, there is a lot to see here, even if you're not religious or simply don't like the churches. Originally, Galatina, or San Pietro as it was then known, was a Greek settlement, and when the power passed over to the Orsini family, they brought French influences with them. But let me mention another religious legend, just because it plays such a big part in the history of Galatina. The story says that Peter and Paul were passing through here, and they were so grateful for the hospitality of the local people that they gave a local man the power to cure the bite of a poisonous spider called taranta. Different sources point out that in the 15th to 17th centuries, South Italy was prone to the epidemic of tarantism, which is a psychological disease characterized by an extreme impulse to dance. Whatever the original source, this gave birth to the strange tradition of tarantism, frantic dancing that's supposed to help patients to sweat out the venom of the spider, thereby curing them of their ailment. Local festivals aim to preserve this tradition, so if you're there at the right time in the right place, you can see it for yourself. But Galatina is also home to a much tastier legend. It is the birthplace of pasticciotto, this wonderful lemony cake that is prevalent all across Salento and also across Italy. The exact place to produce the original recipe is the Ascalona, a cafe that is still operating to this day and have been making the pasticciotto for 10 generations. Unfortunately, I was in Galatina on a Monday, and the cafe does not work on that day. But still, you can buy pasticciotto almost everywhere across the city. That concluded my tour of Galatina, and I'm looking forward to hearing how yours goes. And remember, travel more, it's good for the soul.